My name is Dan. This is The Pack, which is a belonging outside of belonging game of my own design. We are in session 3 now of The Pack. Our dogs have established a den near the beach and have gotten themselves into trouble. We are playing for the Gauntlet, or with the Gauntlet, and the Gauntlet's code of conduct is in effect. We're also playing with 3 safety tools, the X card, lines and veils, and open table. And the players and I reviewed all 3 of those at our first session. Does anyone need me to go over those again? All good? Fantastic. Let's just do maybe quick intros, and then we can kind of recap what happened last time. Actually, why don't we do a quick intro, and then sort of, if you can remember where your dog landed last time, let's do that. So I will start at Jane. Is that all right? No worries.
Of course. You grabbed me right in the middle of technical difficulties there. I'm Jane. My pronouns are she, her. I am playing Davy, who is young enough to not really have a sexuality at this point. Davy started as a he, him, and then got called she, her last time, and I'm really unclear about that. However, they are a sport, which means they love to run and jump and swim. They're very enthusiastic just about everything. And when we left, there is potentially a very important opportunity for Davy to do some swimming, because I had just arrived at the beach where our stray scallop is having a bit of an emergency. I heard Sparky barking, and I have just arrived on the scene to find out what the trouble is.
That's a good opportunity for me to introduce Scallop. She's a stray. She has been around the block. She means well, but she got herself in a bit of trouble last time in trying to lure the seagulls away from our den, as one does. She ended up, she and Sparky put some popcorn on a boat, but in order to set the boat free, she had to get onto the boat and is now adrift in the ocean on a small sailboat. And that's Scallop. David?
Yeah, I am David, he, him pronouns, and I am taking the role of Oatmeal, the scrappy little Italian greyhound. He is, when we last left him, he had been through quite a lot. He had grabbed a little shiny pocket watch from a seagull nest. The seagulls caught him, chased him all the way back to the rec center where the pack is sort of denning, if you will. And last we left him, he had accidentally become the surrogate mother of a seagull chick. And Marmalade the cat finds this seagull chick very appetizing, very succulent looking, and is looking forward to eating it. And it was about to happen during our last session until Volpe the fox intervened at the last moment and was able to drive Marmalade off. But Oatmeal clearly can tell that the situation with Marmalade is coming to a head, and he probably owes Volpe one too. And that's where we left Oatmeal.
And Lowell?
And my name is Lowell, pronouns he, him, and I am running Sparky, the safety dog. And last time we had some great ideas. Now, they may not have been implemented as well as they could have been, but they were really good ideas. And they saved people. Well, not people, but you know, and I got some popcorn, and I was told that popcorn wasn't good for me, which is a lie from liars, because popcorn's great. But oh yeah, that's right. Scalp's out on a boat, and I'm really upset about that. And then I saw Davy, and Davy's gonna run out there, but I'm the rescue dog, so I don't know what to do.
That we will play to find out.
Yes. And I'm on Dalmatian.
Yeah,
I am.
So, an extra wrinkle I remembered, I believe there was an ominous shape in the water as well.
Oh, but that's nothing.
Easy peasy. So we had some questions that we came up with as we were doing our Stars and Wishes last time, and I posted those in the chat. And the big one, I think, is does Davy jump in the water after Scallop? It seems like just yesterday we played this, and I don't remember where these questions came from. So what games do the dogs play is kind of a fun question to ask. How do the dogs weather a storm? I really like that. I wonder if we could bring that in to the boat rescue scene. How do the dogs reconcile with the gulls? How does Oatmeal confront Marmalade? And how does the big bad reveal itself to the pack? And if I remember correctly, we decided that maybe the big bad wouldn't come out until the last session. Does that sound right to everyone? Do these questions seem like stuff that we can sink our teeth into, or are there other scenes that you are interested in playing?
I think there's tons of potential here, and it's worth talking about at least some of these.
Absolutely. I think it's fair to say we have an ominous shape in the water and a dark line of clouds on the horizon. That it's off in the distance, so we haven't heard the lightning and the thunder, which will startle us, but it's coming in.
I'm really liking the image of looking out over the water, and there's it's from the dark shape up to the this circling gulls around poor Scallop, and we can see maybe just the barest hints of that thunderstorm on behind them.
Should we do that first, or should we? I'm wondering if we should play a scene to get Oatmeal to join us, so we are more or less all together. Because Oatmeal, you're still back at the den, right?
I am. It's just me, Volpe, and Droopy.
And a hungry cat.
And Marmalade is stalked off elsewhere, but who knows when she'll be back. Yeah, I could absolutely find a reason to come out and chase after you guys and all of that stuff. Yeah.
Cool. So we've got that. We've got Scallop in the ocean. Any other scenes that come to mind that we should try and play out this session?
Not right off the top of my head.
Just in terms of pacing for this first scene, I think when we left off, I want something awesome to happen here, obviously, but I don't want it to be the Davy show at all. That's just not interesting to me.
No.
But also I feel maybe having Oatmeal, planning on Oatmeal sort of appearing in the middle of the scene, we give Sparky and Davy a chance to get themselves into even more trouble, and then maybe Oatmeal can come rescue us somehow and have a brilliant idea.
Is that all right with you, David?
Yeah, that works. I can take on a setting element or something like that in the meantime.
I do think that one thing you might do is to take care of the chick. It would be very easy to slide it under one of Droopy's ears and conceal it there.
If
you need a place to conceal it.
Yeah, ample room under Droopy.
That's fantastic. He's deaf. He won't be bothered by the pee bag.
It's okay.
I guess I'll watch the chick now. All right, so we are on the beach with Sparky and Davy. What does that look like?
Bark, 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 spin, 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 bark, 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 spin, spin, spin. The boat, it's out in the boat. The boat, it's far out there.
Oh, those are big waves. I'm a really good swimmer. I'm a really, really good swimmer. Those are really big waves.
Oh, I'm a really good swimmer too. I'm a better swimmer.
You can swim? Why haven't you gone swimming with me yet? Let's go swimming. What do we do when we get to the boat, though? Can Scallop swim? If Scallop can swim, why hasn't Scallop swum back to the shore?
We can drag it back. We just use our teeth and we drag it back.
Okay.
I like this.
Are we seriously just jumping in the water?
Yeah.
Okay, let's just do it.
And I think it is a competition. I mean, Sparky is making this a competition.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I think that definitely Davey's like not sure and not sure and not sure. It's like, but then like realizes that Sparky's is yeah, and that's what gets me to do it. Like that I'm actually worried about it.
yeah, and I think it become clear very quickly that Davy is much better at swimming than
Yes.
Sparky is, like significantly. But Sparky will do his level best because he doesn't be shown up on a rescue.
I mean, if we've got a storm coming in, I mean, the waves have got to be seriously choppy too.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is actually probably super harrowing. Just with like, we keep going under, and I guess what I'm wondering is like, how dangerous do we want to make this? Do we like, like one of the safety things about dice is you can roll the dice and then something bad happens and you're like, all right, it's getting worse and it's getting worse and it's getting worse. I'm like, I don't know. Do we make it there?
Well, I think I'm going to take a token because Sparky is not nearly as athletic as he thought he was.
Yeah.
And I think all of the Dalmatian paunch is coming back to haunt Sparky. And I think Sparky is probably getting pushed back by the waves. And there's a moment where he stops like fighting the waves and is getting pushed back to the shore. Unfortunately, leaving Davy to save Scallop.
Yeah, and I'm thinking I have a bit of a problem here because I currently have one token. And I think that that's enough to reasonably get me there so that I can like get myself to the boat and I can get a hold of like the rope that's trailing in the water. So I'm not in immediate risk of drowning, but I can't get us back. So now I'm kind of stuck out there with the boat.
So have you arrived at the boat? Are you arriving at the boat? How do you make yourself known to Scallop?
Yeah, so I'm paddling, and I think that once we get out past the fall off, I don't even like really notice that I've lost Sparky because my snout is so full of salt water, and I'm like huffing and snuffing to like clear it, and all I can see is choppy water. I'm sorry, someone's setting off fireworks outside my house.
Fair enough.
It's my neighborhood. They do that all the time. And when but I'm like able to kind of clear the worst of the breakers, and I'm paddling out, and I like, when I reach the boat, I like try and throw my front paws up onto it, and I scrabble, but I can't get purchase on it. So like there's this moment of like the boat rocking, and that'll alert you, but I can't actually get into the boat. And so I grab on with my teeth onto the trailing rope, for dear life. But I don't think I can actually make it into the boat.
And go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, I just on a mechanical note, I took a token for challenging you to a difficult feat because I always forget about those other dogs' gain, and I think you were following my like advice to go out there. So if you want to take a token for that, if that's a trigger off of my dog.
Sure. I'm a little worried my dog is going to drown out here if I don't.
I'm trying to decide if Scallop is like just hanging out, if she is enjoying herself. Is she seasick and that's why she hasn't tried to swim back? Does she not know how to swim?
How pressing are the seagulls at this point?
That's a good question. Maybe they've been dive bombing her and eating all the popcorn.
And taunting, because they know the storm's coming. The water is their element, and here's this stupid dog. Stupid dog. Mine. Just over and over again.
I bet they're maliciously flying at you. Every time you like think you're gonna jump in, they like get in your way and flap their wings and make themselves big, and they're like they're actively making it difficult for you to rescue yourself.
Perhaps there's an especially upset seagull who is Fluff's actual mother.
Okay. And so she maybe demanding to know where her chick is.
Perhaps one or maybe she's just out for blood. I don't know. But maybe if you guys get a chance to speak under less urgent circumstances, then she might make that statement known. Maybe the way that she is revealed in the fiction is she's an especially aggressive seagull, one who is a bit smarter and bigger and more intense than the others.
So this gives me an idea. Maybe I am actually on the boat under some kind of tarp. And I'm like, I smell that Davy is there. And so I'm like, are they gone? Like peeking out from under the tarp. Are the seagulls gone?
No. No, they're still here, but you got to get out of this boat. You're drifting further out.
The seagulls,
can't you swim?
They keep getting me. I'm scared.
If you can get me into the boat, maybe I can shake the water off of me hard enough to scatter them. Can you help me into the boat? I can't.
I think I need to spend a token to overcome my fear of the seagulls and edge out. And I'm kind of looking around, scared of a seagull. And would a rope help? What would help, baby?
This all happened because you were untying the mooring rope. And I'm kind of imagining that I have the half that's trailing in the water.
Okay.
So if you got the other half and pulled on it, I would hopefully have enough purchase to get up.
Right. So I'm pulling on the rope to the best of my ability.
Okay. And then in a way that is much less graceful than I was hoping. I was hoping for this to be more athletic, but it's, wet dog going everywhere.
Yes.
I'm going to flop into the boat, legs all over the place. And I do think I startle some birds. And then I guess I just start barking and shaking and chasing everything in the boat. And the boat is just doing this.
I am overjoyed to see you. I thought I was just done. So I'm expressing my affection as only dogs can. And I'm going to use this weak move. Tell me if you all think this counts. Express my gratitude for being part of the pack. I just feel so happy that someone would come rescue me here. And so I'm sort of, as you're flopping around, I'm just kind of trying to lick your face. I'm trying to be thank you so much. Thank you so much.
How do you feel about capsizing the boat? I mean, if I'm jumping all over the place, or is that too much right now?
I'm fine with that. Dan is fine with that. That'll make me worried.
It seems like the logical, if I'm actively trying to jump all over the boat and
I like it.
And so I imagine that we inadvertently capsize the boat, and then there's a great puff of
popcorn
of the birds lifting off, cawing angrily. And then I'm wondering, Sparky, did you make it back to the shore?
Yeah, this might be the point at which I've come bedraggled to the shoreline and see Oatmeal. Is to because I don't know what to do at this point.
I could potentially arrive at that point, and if we needed to, there'd be a quick flashback of
they're all gone. They're gone. The boat is upside down, and popcorn's in the water, and they're all gone. We're all alone, and there's a storm. I see there's the Sparky things, not me, Sparky, but the Sparky things in the coming waves.
My head pokes out from in between a whole bunch of tall grass, so only my head emerges, and I kind of look up at the sky, And I go, oh, that's not good. I've seen those before. They're gone. They're underneath the boat. Are they gone for good? Don't know.
I don't know. I can't see them. There's waves, and it was a boat. It was upside down, and I don't know.
Okay,
What do we do?
Sparky, how good of a swimmer are you?
I'm a very good swimmer.
Okay, I'm gonna need you to do some swimming for me, and I'm gonna.
Right now?
The boat's only getting further out, Sparky. We gotta act now. It's not a good situation, but we gotta do it.
Maybe they'll get pushed in by the water.
Sparky, can we really take that chance?
I think the storm is really kicking up now, and we hear our first thunderclap.
Can I propose an absurd solution to this problem? I kind of want all 4 dogs to be basically drowning, and then that shape to turn out to be a friendly dolphin. I think that's maybe where we're at. I'm totally fine with that not being it too. I'm just like, it's gonna happen. We need to be rescued. We need to be saved from ourselves.
Are you coming with me out there, Oatmeal?
Yes, there's, and I'll kind of gesture toward a like a small kind of dock or a very short pier, and it perhaps has a bit of rope kind of tied to one of the posts. And I'm gonna need you, Sparky, to carry me on your back. I'll have some rope in my mouth, and you're gonna need to swim out there so that we can get to the boat and kind of at least affix it to the rope. And then
Can I give you a boogie board? Can there be like when you get out onto the pier, there's like something, some sort of flotation, something?
Oh, so he is, so like Sparky like has the boogie board under him and he's just kind of.
I mean, I'm kind of imagining just oatmeal on the boogie board and Sparky pushing the boogie board, which is completely unreasonable in this situation.
Sailing the high seas. We can. I mean, I'm fine with that. That's really goofy, but I like it, and I think it fits the mood that we're doing, sort of.
I run behind Oatmeal, though I am terrified because I wasn't able to get out there before. But Oatmeal knows what they're doing, and if they go and grab the rope, and then they grab the big. Oh man, this board is so on your mouth. Oh, it's so good to chew on.
Sparky.
Oh, I'm sorry. What?
I need you to grab that rope in your mouth, okay?
Okay.
And I'm gonna be your backup, okay? And I need you to let go of the board, okay? I remember when I was hanging out with my best friend. And I'm referring to my human here. He would put me on these things all the time, and we would go swimming around. It was a great time, okay? And I know how to work these things, but I need you to swim along with me. I'll kind of kick along with you on this board, and we got to go out there to that boat. We only have maybe a minute at best, okay? This is going to require some serious bravery from both of us. Are you feeling up to it?
So you have another best friend?
Sparky, I have all kinds of best friends. There's no shortage of people who can be on my best friends list. And you're 100% on the list, Sparky. That's why I'm trusting you with this.
Okay, I just want to make sure I wouldn't get pushed off the list. Okay. Okay. I'm in the water.
Okay.
Sploosh.
And I
regret this.
I kind of get my snout positioned underneath this board, and I get this like running start pushing the board in front of me, and we both kind of fly off the edge of the dock together. The board lands first, and I kind of slap on top of it, and we rock around a little bit. Let me see here. I guess, Sparky, actually, are you okay with having the rope in your mouth?
Yeah.
Okay. Would this count as, I feel like I need to spend a token here somewhere. This is a lot of fancy
you're getting a lot done. And
stuff I'm doing.
Yes.
Might this be making use of human tech to produce a useful effect?
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Okay, because I feel like I ought to be using a token here somewhere.
I'm going to spend a token to stay strong in the face of fear. So,
because we got thunderclaps now. Do you
Right.
feel something slimy on your feet, Sparky? Is that like maybe one of the shadows underneath is kind of
How's it going back there, Sparky? I, I'm trying to get a view at what's behind him while still kicking forward, but I'm in a bit of a panicked state right now. How does Sparky respond to all this?
Sparky's head is like freaking out and trying to swim here. Because I bet at this point we're trying to go towards where they are, but I imagine with the waves, we can't really see it that well. So right now we're just kind of out into the water.
Got it.
And also our boat is now capsized, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you guys beside the boat or are you under the boat?
I was gonna say I like the idea of at least 3, if not all 4 of us, ending up just like stuck in the air pocket. Like, well, this is bad.
Or are we on top of the boat?
Hmm.
Will the boat float like that?
Yeah.
And we're on top of the boat, sort of flooded style.
I'm a big fan of the air pocket.
That works.
It's so absurd. I don't know how we're gonna manage
with like popcorn floating around us.
Oh.
I mean, if we're in the air pocket, we are safe from the birds. Also safe from the thunderclaps, theoretically.
Should we play out that conversation a little bit?
Yeah, let's play out that conversation, then cut back to Oatmeal and I coming.
What are Davy and Scallop talking about in the dark air pocket of the capsized boat?
I think Davy's very pleased with themselves that they've gotten rid of the birds. I got rid of the birds. The birds aren't a problem anymore. Now you can swim, right? We gotta take deep breaths. Let it out. In. Out.
Davy, I know how to swim. I grew up on a beach. I'm fine swimming.
All right.
I've never been this far out before, and I've never been accosted by so many seagulls.
I don't think the seagulls are a problem anymore. And I have this feeling that if we don't swim soon, we're just going to get further and further out.
I feel like we hear a scratching on the boat on the top of the boat.
I think there'll be that moment where the thunder rumbles and the boat is that kind of aluminum. So I imagine that you get that shake through it, like the boat shakes.
Also, this is a tiny contained space, isn't it?
Yes.
Which is theoretically something I'm terrified of.
So I'm like, Davy, you stopped talking. That's not like you. Are you okay?
Yeah, I think I'm just whimpering and whining now. I think I've started to succumb to my fear. I'm like, we're never gonna make it back. There's a storm. I wasn't counting on a storm. I have to get out of here. And I'm like, but like somehow I think that maybe I'm almost imagining that we don't have to be swimming. Like somehow we've like managed to like perch ourselves on the upside down benches.
Yeah, I like it. Something under there that. So we're
and like
a lot of
just the logic of go down to come up hasn't quite occurred to Davy, maybe. So I'm gonna start I think that I should start flipping out, like with that thunder, like that wakes me up to the fact that I'm trapped. Like I was kind of blissfully unaware of that until the whole thing started shaking, and then I was like all of a sudden aware of the circumference of the place I'm in.
So I'm like, Davy, we can do this. You're the best.
We can't do this. This was a bad idea. I shouldn't have come out here. I knew the waves were too big, but Sparky, what happened to Sparky?
I know.
Sparky's dead.
No, I saw Sparky on the beach when I was helping you get the.
It was a mirage. Sparky was right behind me. That was before we swam. We're all gonna die.
Davy, look, I'm gonna tell you a secret. Are you ready for the secret?
No, it's gonna be bad.
You are the best swimmer. you are a better swimmer than Sparky. He could not keep up with you. And so we need to swim. I challenge you to swim under the boat. And when we pop up under, we will see the sky again. And we will be able to swim as hard as we can for the beach. In fact, I will race you to the beach.
Okay. Race to the beach.
Do you think we can do it?
Race to the beach. Race to the beach. I can't do it. We're gonna race to the beach.
Yeah, we're gonna
race to the beach.
We're gonna race to the beach, and
Race to the beach.
I'm gonna beat you.
No, you're not. I'm
Oh,
the best swimmer.
And
Race to the beach.
with that, I take a deep breath and I dive under.
And Davey has to like do the doggy version of counting to 3 and like really psych themselves up, and then I go in under after you.
We're swimming.
So,
Lowell,
I mean,
Oh, go ahead, David.
well, I was just gonna say, is this a situation where, as I'm kicking frantically towards the boat, you guys are like coming the other direction, and it's like, well, and then
where those things going?
okay.
Lowell, what were you gonna say?
Oh, I was going to say, yeah, our paths should definitely cross. I don't know if it's Oatmeal or I that will notice that they've moved past, or if we do, what do you think, Oatmeal?
I kind of like the idea of Oatmeal being so frantically tunnel visioned that he doesn't notice, and it's Sparky calling frantically, but he's got like the rope in his mouth and isn't getting the words out properly.
I have to let the rope go. Oh,
How's it going back there, Sparky?
They're heading back to
What?
they're heading back to the beach, and there's something under my paws.
And I think that I like try to turn the board around, and at this point it's like starting to flip over a little bit because I can't steer it very properly. So I'm trying to see if there's a weak move I can do here to complicate matters for myself.
Well, and I'm also thinking I really like Jane's idea of us getting rescued by a dolphin.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we all end up in a pile on this boogie board, and the dolphin pulls us in.
Okay, so I'm like trying to turn the thing around, and then suddenly you guys are kind of like right there.
Right.
And now we have 3 dogs on one boogie board. It can't support the weight, so we're like kind of like taking turns getting on it and staying off of it, and it's just a mess. Okay, that works. So what I'll do then is I'll kind of like say, I don't see anybody, Sparky, and then I'll turn around and you're both like right here. And I think that at that point I would be so startled I would kind of like jump and I would like fall off of the boogie board, and you guys have access to it now, and I'm trying to keep myself above water with my little stick legs. Yeah,
I think like now that I've gotten over my like initial panic, I am doing my level, like I'm not actually on the boogie board, but I am doing my level best to like grab the rope and pull, which was because clearly that's beyond Sparky's ability to do any longer. So I am at least attempting to do that. So you 3 can have the top of the boogie board.
Is it one dolphin? Is it a school of dolphins? Is it a couple dolphins that are sort of gliding us in? What do we think?
Like pushing against us, like suddenly we feel like the waves, and then there are these things sort of hitting against us from underneath.
Right.
And I'm like, there's a water cat beast thing. It's pushing me. And I'm trying to get over to where Oatmeal and Scallop are, but even as I'm paddling, this thing is pushing me. So you see me get like lifted up out of the water and then kind of go back down. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on.
Maybe it's a bunch of dolphins and they each take one of us on their backs, Disney style.
Davey is totally weirdly graceful. Like once I figure out what's going on, I'm like, oh, surfboard.
Oatmeal's a tiny little thing. I want to make sure that Oatmeal's on one of these things. I don't know. These are like sentient boogie boards. I don't want to lose that boogie board either. I want to get my jaws on that thing because it's delicious.
How does Oatmeal feel about the dolphins?
I am horrified of anything that I can't make eye contact with. So yeah, I think that there would be this like weirdly slick bulk that kind of lifts me up from underneath. And I think that that would probably throw me into a state of panic, but there's not a whole lot that I can actually do to respond to it other than just like hang on tight, like I'm kind of straddling this thing all the way around, and probably just like shouting back to Sparky, I found the others.
Nice.
I can't do anything. This thing is, I don't know.
So we're definitely just talking over each other at this point.
Yes.
One
And
of the-
and the storm is probably like now, like the rain has started.
Yeah, I mean, if we have to weather a storm, I mean, the classic thing that you see in these kinds of stories is that the dogs end up on some kind of sandbar that's separated by a strong current that's been brought on by the storm, and they have to figure out, are we going to try to jump this thing? Are we going to try to swim across it?
Oh, I like that.
You know, that kind of a thing, because that prevents us from just being able to run back to the rec center and be safe.
Right.
So they drop us on this sandbar, kind of, you know, like get us to the shallows of that, and now we're here as the storm is coming in, but we're at least safe for the moment on the sandbar.
Do the dolphins hang around for things, or are they just like, can we communicate with them?
Well, I was gonna say, are they sentient? Are these like named NPCs or another enclave, or are they just kind of like canaries and that they're just sort of there?
I think dolphins have to be sentient.
Oh yeah,
Definitely.
neighboring enclave, definitely.
But I think they have to be like, this. That was really stupid. You shouldn't be out here. No, this is really, really dumb.
Is there one of them that like starts lecturing us?
Oh yeah, you. What were you thinking? I just don't even understand it. Just doesn't make any sense to me. I don't even know what you are.
Another one's like, Carl, just stop. They're dogs. They will never listen to you.
I don't just, it doesn't make any sense.
No, they don't make any sense to me. But
Knowing dolphin personalities, I think it would make sense for there to be at least one kind of like juvenile or baby dolphin that's extremely playful and would get along great with Sparky.
I like that.
This is just yeah, like button noses now and stuff, and I'm like, Oatmeal, come here.
I'm like trying not to hyperventilate. What do you want now, Sparky?
You guys gotta come here. This dolphin is awesome. This dolphin is awesome. He says we can play out here in the water. Well, not this water, because it's really, and we're all gonna drown if we don't get off of this thing. But it's really, really cool.
I roll on my back, Sparky. I think we have better things to worry about right now.
Oh, Davy, Scallop.
This is the best day ever. We've made so many friends today. So many friends. This is the third friend. And you know what? We made a friend that was the same shape as Oatmeal, but a different color. And this time we made a friend that was a different shape, but the same color as Oatmeal. And the other friend thinks Oatmeal is his mommy. So Oatmeal is the middle of all the friends. Oatmeal is the best friend maker there has ever been. Can I be Oatmeal? Oatmeal, will you teach me how to make friends?
I'm hearing all of this, but from my perspective, it's kind of like this muffled, like, and all I can do is like look at the teeth on the dolphins, and I'm just like this wide-eyed, terrified, like, oh no. And I look at Davey and I say, please make friends with them. Their teeth are very big, and I'm afraid that we're going to be their lunch.
So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start running in circles around Oatmeal, because we're on the sandbar now, right?
Yeah.
And I'm going, I'm afraid you're scaring the friend maker. Can you be friends with me instead? Your big teeth are scaring the friend maker. So can I be your friend? Please, please, please.
Is this one of the dolphins that has the big teeth?
I guess I'm talking to the dolphins. Yeah. Like
Probably
I'm
the
kind of
one that
like
was
I'm running interference. Like play with me instead. I know he's the same color as you, but I want to be your friend. And
So we've got baby Carl, the obnoxious dolphin, and then whoever was correcting Carl are the three dolphins we've established so far.
Yeah. Um, I can be the call corrector, whose name will be
Euclid.
Euclid.
Sorry.
That was great. Euclid
Okay.
is a surly dolphin. Are you one of these dogs? Is that what you are? You're very bouncy. Can't swim very well. I think I'm talking to Davy.
I can swim really well. I am the best swimmer of all the dogs. Of every dog ever. I'm the
Sure.
best swimmer.
Do you have one of these?
Oh,
No, do you have one of these? And I turn around and I wag my tail at him.
I do. It's called a fluke. So I'm just saying, dogs stay on the beach, dolphins stay in the water.
because you've got a flute.
Should have listened to my own advice. Never talk to you.
At this point, there's a flash of lightning, and it begins to sprinkle a little bit. There's little drops of darkness appearing on the sand where the water's hitting.
Okay, and so I think Davy kind of shies away from that a little bit and says, okay, assuming we're gonna take your advice, you didn't actually bring us to the beach. How are we supposed to get to the beach?
That water is too shallow for us to get all the way to the beach. So you're welcome, by the way, for getting.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm panicking. Thank you.
Right.
Sure. Okay. All right. Well, thank you. And I'll splash around with the baby dolphin. Hey, we'll hang out some other time. It'd be great. I'll bring popcorn. And popcorn's good for everybody. And I'll look around. I'll say, we need to help Oatmeal. We need to help Oatmeal get across the water. Davy,
Yeah.
you're a better swimmer than I am. Can you help Oatmeal get across?
Can I carry you in my mouth, Oatmeal?
I weigh about 9 to 11 pounds is kind of my size. I'm not sure how big your type of dog
maybe
is.
I could. I carried the fox.
Is there a way that I could take some advice from Sparky, the safety dog, because this is a safety situation? And by taking Sparky's advice, albeit begrudgingly and
You've got to let Davy take you. You got to let Davy take you.
Sparky, I don't think this is a good idea.
No, you got to let Davy
No,
take
we
you.
should
You got to
do.
do it soon. Because it's the boom
Sparky,
coming.
You should ask your friend to stay in case this doesn't work. And we
Okay.
get swept out.
I'll talk to the sharp teeth little thing and make it stay. But Dave, Oatmeal, you got to go.
Okay.
Okay.
You
I'm
ready?
gonna hold my breath and close my eyes, and you tell me when it's over.
Okay.
Okay.
And so as gently as I can, I'm gonna kind of like behind your shoulders.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm going to splash into the water.
Is this kind of a comedic moment where the water is not actually all that deep? And so we've sort of gone through all of this and the water's like up to here on your paws? Or is there a serious danger here to get back from the sandbar?
It's up to Davy and Oatmeal. What do you think?
I feel like we've had, or go ahead, Oatmeal.
No, go ahead.
I mean, I feel like we had some serious danger already. Like, it's okay with me if we don't have that same danger again.
Like it's the classic, I'm drowning, and then you can stand up in the pool moment.
Yeah.
That works. So I'm just like a huddled, balled up little mess. And you're kind of like pulling me through sand that probably I can feel. on my flank.
And I'm gonna drop you on the beach, and I am going to like be excited. I'm like, see, I'm the best swimmer, and I rescued you.
Okay, I think, Davy, I think the worst is over. Um, we've. I pause and realize that I've left Marmalade and Fluff kind of in the same house, and I say, David, we've got to get back to the rec center like right now.
But what about Oatmeal? Or not Oatmeal? What about Scallop and Sparky? They haven't made it yet.
I think I was already on the beach. Like I
Okay.
sort of walked over.
I'm still
You're
talking with
rolling
the
your
dolphin.
eyes at us.
I'm still talking to the dolphin. Oh, I gotta go. But yeah, popcorn. Okay, I gotta go.
Oh, I was thinking, I wonder if we strike a deal with the dolphins.
Ooh.
Like we provide popcorn and they do something for us. But I don't know what.
Oh, I say, can you talk to the gulls? Can you talk to the gulls and get them to chill out? Please, tell them that we're cool. And tell them that one of their babies got lost and we're taking care of it. And if they want it back, they can come. Somebody can come and not peck our eyes out. Okay, will you tell them that? Tell them that? Yeah. I'll give you popcorn if you do that. I will spend a token, I think, to convince them to assist us.
I like it.
And then I got to run for the beach.
So we're all together now on the beach. We have some kind of deal with the dolphins. Oatmeal's remembered that he's left a tenuous situation back at the den. I'm wondering if we arrive at the den to find trouble has already happened.
Ooh. Is it gull trouble?
Well, the idea that I'd had
Ooh.
before Oatmeal said anything was that it was flooding in the rec center, and that's the storm. The storm has now come down.
The water's mad at us, and it came in here.
I personally am not afraid of water. I don't know why we keep ending up in scary water situations. But I kind of like maybe Marmalade's run off and taken Fluff if we want to escalate things a little bit.
Except to Oatmeal, I think.
I think that's a good idea because it does two things. One is it gives us and the goals a shared goal. GOAL, not GULL.
Right.
We have a shared goal. And it allows for there to be some kind of showdown of sorts with Marmalade that ideally, Marmalade being a cat, ends with them getting wet. And that's the closest thing to beating Marmalade we can come up with, because I don't want to actually harm the poor thing.
You're a dog. So maybe you do.
I mean, as a player.
I see. All right.
Right. Yeah, no, I mean, I would love to snap at her ugly little tail. But yeah, that's the kind of what I'm thinking. Yeah, let's say that Marmalade has cunningly somehow managed to fool Droopy. Big surprise there.
Yeah.
And has made off with Fluff and is trying to get him to or her, whatever Fluff is, and get them to a safe location where Marmalade can feast peacefully. And we arrive kind of right as that has happened.
Or are they already gone?
Right. They're gone, but they just left recently.
Right. Okay.
Do we still have the storm to contend with? Is the rain still going?
I think that's what's putting pressure on us as we're kind of looking for Fluff. Is it's not easy because of the rain.
Oh, yeah. I say, if Marmalade took him, What was his name? What was the baby's name?
Fluff is a girl, technically.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I got this. So if Marley took it, Marley doesn't want to be out. His cat doesn't want to be out in the water, right? And so he doesn't want to be inside there. So if we think about this, that means that he's going to go for the woods or the beach house. A beach house is closer.
I like this.
So we need to go. I bet that he has gone to the beach house.
Nice.
I am spending my last token so that he has gone to the beach house.
That is some good thinking, Sparky. I am really proud of you.
I am a safety dog.
And you are keeping us safe, in a manner of speaking.
And all I can smell is salt.
How would you advise that we get into the beach house?
We ask Oatmeal to do it. Oatmeal's the best at the door window opening thingy. Right, Oatmeal?
I say, kind of like shaking the water off of me.
Oh, it smells like wet dog all over here.
Yes.
It's all wet dog all the time.
I shake the water droplets off of me and I regain my composure and I say, I am very clever that way. Yes. And I wag my tail back and forth with it in a slow, confident kind of way.
I think that we should, Scallop and Davy and I should go and keep watch, and you should go in there and steal Fluffy away from Marmalade. So I'm giving you a token. Because I'm asking you to steal something.
I think you gain the token.
Oh, I get a token. That's even better. That's the best thing. I love it.
Okay. But I'm
Yes. Go on.
I'm gonna need you guys to back me up on this. Because I don't know if you noticed, but Marmalade
His claws.
She's not kidding around. I've seen the teeth, I've seen the claws, I've seen the sheer heights from which she can jump. She's a dangerous cat. All right? And between you and me, you guys are bigger than me. So if it comes down to it, I'm gonna need you to spring me out of there.
Okay. And we gotta be quiet going over there, don't we, right?
That's where I look up and there's a well-timed clap of thunder. That's where that comes in. So I'm gonna try to get in there, locate Fluff. If I can't get a safe escape route, I'm gonna have to open the door for you guys, and we're gonna need to bust her out of there by force. Okay.
I'm proud to be part of this plan.
Woof, we got your back.
Okay. We got it.
I can throw you in the air if need be.
Yeah.
I hope it doesn't come to that. Droopy, are you going to be okay?
Okay. Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay. Good.
Sorry, I lost the fluff.
It's no hard feelings, I say, and I nudge open a window or something, and like the storm is like blowing water inside at this point. All right, guys. Everyone ready to go? Okay. Yep. And unless anyone wants to do something else, I will spring through the window dramatically to take off across the blustery, windy, thunderstorm-racked seagrasses to get out to that beach house.
Okay.
Is the beach house intact? What do you think, David? Is it like everything fine, or has it gotten kind of destroyed?
Oh, let's destroy it. We haven't done any destroyed stuff yet.
Right. Even better, maybe it's already kind of run down. Like it's already kind of a, dark shadows, hard to kind of see who's lurking in the shadows. Maybe Marmalade sees me and starts kind of taunting me, but I can't see where she is. And then there's like kind of a creepy moment there. But then, perhaps like the storm is severe enough that right at the climactic moment, like shingles and parts of roofing start getting torn off.
Okay.
And it throws everything into complete disarray, and it's all very unpredictable.
If we want to do like super destruction, we've kind of established there was this other big storm. If it were a house on stilts, we could knock one of the stilts out from under it, which would create enough destruction that we could find a way in without like having to deal with a door or window, and it would be super spooky and also very much capable of getting worse.
That thing is right on the beach, according to our map. And if we are even remotely in the mid-Atlantic or southern state area, it is definitely on stilts. So
I really like that idea.
I love it.
So do we want to knock one of the stilts out from under it to start with, so that it's like kind of it's canted over, or do we want to wait and hold on to that as a thing that could potentially happen during this rescue attempt?
I was thinking maybe the roof's caved in a bit and things are kind of tearing off the house, but it hasn't, the stilt hasn't come out yet.
Super precarious.
Yeah. We're hearing a lot of groaning sounds when we're
and once we get up into it, it'll have that like distinct, like the whole house is shimmying feeling that you get when I don't know if you've been in one of those in Strong Wings, but it'll do this.
And now I will never be in one of those.
Yep.
So, I like this. Are all four of us going? I don't see why not.
Yeah, don't know, because I'll watch the outside.
You are very brave to stay out in this storm, Sparky.
What? Oh yeah, like hasn't quite realized the implications of this yet. He's like, okay, let's do this thing. Okay.
Would this be, before we go into this, how much do we want the goals to factor into this? Are they something that's going to kind of start swooping in and causing havoc, when they identify that the roof is caved in? Or are they like talking to Sparky, and Sparky has to do some quick battlefield negotiation to get the goals to understand that we're all on the same side here? Or are the goals even involved with this scene?
I wasn't seeing the gulls as involved because gulls don't usually do well if they can't fly. And if the winds are strong enough to tear shingles off, they're battening down, I would imagine.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I feel like between the storm and the cat and whoever the cat is allied with over here, we've got plenty to deal with.
Okay. So in that case, I will make my way up to. I'm from the Midwest and have no idea how these stilt houses work. So if, like, is there a stairway that kind of leads up?
Yeah, it would probably have actually like literally every bedroom would probably have its own exit onto a deck, and all the decks are connected with staircases all the way up, even on if it was like four stories tall. There's like tons of decks and stairs all around the outside.
So like multiple landings, like you go up to the one, then you go up to another, and then eventually you get to the top. Okay.
Because like the idea being that you can get from the ground into your bedroom and the adjoining bathroom without going through any other part of the house, just tracking sand, I think is the logic behind it.
Okay, got it. So in that case, what I'll do is I'll kind of be, darting up to one deck, looking around, looking for a way in, darting up to another, looking around for a way in. And eventually, once I get up top, am I seeing that part of the roof has kind of fallen in? And that's my way in.
I like that. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to dart over to maybe the edge of kind of like a deck or a part where there's sort of some railing, and I'll stick my head through the posts that support the handrail, and I'll kind of call out to you guys, there is an entrance up here in the roof. And at this point, is everyone just kind of waiting on Oatmeal? Does anybody want to come in as kind of like a backup? Or is this like a solo mission?
I figured I'm the second smallest, so maybe I would come along with you.
Got it.
With everybody.
And then I think it kind of makes sense for if Sparky's going to be kind of, muscle on the outside, that Davy would also be kind of in that role. But do you want to be on the ground, Sparky, or do you want to go up onto the
Digging a hole.
Okay.
Because I'm good at that. And because we can be safe in a hole and we can hide in a hole. And if Marmalade comes out, if they fluke him out, I don't know. If he comes out, we can get him.
Okay. I think I'm kind of like indecisive because I'm like, I kind of think we should be up on the deck, but you're down there. So I'm kind of like doing a lot of like going up the deck stairs and then to the landing and then kind of coming back down and then going all the way up. And then, so I'm going to, and I'm really not paying very close attention because of that.
Yeah.
Dig.
Because that does look like fun and it's very muddy and it's making this wonderful
Oh yeah.
sound when you do it. And then like, it keeps spilling back in and it looks also kind of frustrating, like you might need help, but also it's really muddy and I have really long fur. And I'm very torn.
I think when we get into the house, we see everything is kind of soaked through, but maybe there's evidence that not just Marmalade has been here, that we see maybe several bird carcasses and things like that of cats that have been hanging out in here and eating the local flora and fauna.
I tend to just leave, sometimes I'll just leave the wings. Like, so there's just like some disembodied wings. I had a cat that was a major hunter and she would do that.
It's
I can just see you're not a cat person, Dan. You're like
I do like all animals, but they are lower on the list. Do we feel like I was also thinking maybe it's kind of eerily quiet, like except for the storm, we're not really hearing anything.
Right, you just hear the occasional like low rumble of thunder outside, but otherwise it's this like dark, spooky atmosphere with like feathers kind of lying here and there. And I'll probably, whisper as we're kind of tiptoeing around. I'll be like, Scallop, it's a slaughterhouse in here.
I know, we never should have befriended that cat. No good comes from befriending cats.
No good comes from cats.
No.
I sniff the air and all I'm getting is just bird.
Right. It's hard for me to even tell if Fluff is here.
Trying to see if there's a move that I can use here to like locate Fluff or at least get myself into trouble that can lead to Fluff. Well, there's grab something and get caught. That is a weak move. So maybe Fluff seems to be, oh, how convenient. Right there, no apparent cat guarding it.
Nice.
And that's when I walk directly into Marmalade's trap, perhaps.
Yeah, there's kind of a moment
I
where
love that.
No. And is Fluff sitting on a bed somewhere, sitting in a chair, sitting on the floor? What do you think?
Maybe kind of up on some, like on a bed or something that a cat could easily, hop onto, but would be a little bit more difficult for a little guy like me. So I'm kind of like padding through and I hear this peep, peep, and I kind of look over and, oh, sure enough, there is Fluff sitting all alone, kind of on the edge of this bed. And I freeze and I say, Scallop, She's right there. And I pad over to it. And does Scallop notice that this is almost too easy?
I think Scallop is noticing it's too easy. Or actually, I was going to suggest maybe I've wandered off to see if there's anything useful in this house. So I don't have your back in the way I should.
Okay. So what I'll do then is I'll be like, Scallop, Scallop. Oh no.
And so as you
yeah.
as you like are in that moment where you realize that Scalp is alone, you then behind you something I'm imagining like shafts of like murky light that's like coming through the windows, and all of a sudden something very large blocks one of those lights, and you hear and it's like that soft cat landing sound, like the thud.
Oh,
but
yeah.
It's way too big to be Marmalade.
Do I notice this, or is this something that's happening off, like behind me, so the audience sees it, but I'm so far unaware?
I think it's your choice whether you're aware of it or not.
I think
let's say you're not aware of it.
I was leaning that way too. So what I'll do is this shadow will kind of cross behind me, and there's just this thud. And I kind of look around and I kind of say, just the house, just the wind, just the storm. And I'm like singing a little song to myself that everything is okay as I pad towards Fluff. And then I get up there and I kind of get down and get ready to jump and hop up onto the bed. And I nestle up next to Fluff and I say, okay, there we go. I've got you. Come on, just here, hop on my snout. And I'm kind of like trying to get the little thing balanced onto my nose. And right about the time it feels secure. What's that, Dan?
I was going to ask, does Fluff recognize you? Do you get like a mama from Fluff, or does it?
I really like that idea. That somehow the little thing recognizes me. I'm like, yeah, that's right. Mama's here. Just hop up onto the snout. Come on. And right as about the time I get it balanced, maybe that's when the big...
When there's this deep rumbling purr comes from behind you. And, oh, so very sweet.
And is this Marmalade or is this something bigger?
I'm imagining this is our giant feline from the woods.
Oh, nice. The big bad is here.
So I'll initially mistake it for Marmalade. I will be like, no, listen, Marmalade. I know that we said some things earlier and we still have some difference. We don't always see eye to eye, and then I make ironically eye contact.
I think it's still, but they're like, it's still enough in the dark that you can't see it properly. All you get is like the huge golden eyes.
Right. So right as I say, we don't always see eye to eye, I lock eyes with this like primal beast. Like it's a much different kind of vibe than the domestic house cat I was working with earlier.
Should should we pause there? I'm wondering. Let's take a quick break. Would that be all right? Because I feel like that locking eyes I would get a fade to black at that moment on the TV show. So
yeah, and then I want to know what everybody else is doing before we get to find out how you did. All right.
So let's take 10 then.
Excellent.
See you in 10. Marmalade's here. There we go.
Recap, in the 5 minutes we forgot to record, Sparky and Davy have decided that there's a trapped dolphin in the house.
Yes.
And now we're informing Marmalade that we know all about the dolphin.
I did not catch the dolphin. The only thing I caught is that little fluffy bird, which I plan to bring to my secret hideout to enjoy as a meal.
Yes. We're just sitting out here. Well, it's just the two of us. No, nobody's in there looking for...
Planned. You said planned.
Wait a minute. Did you bring some of those other dumb dogs with you?
Nope, just us.
Yep, just us.
Um,
Oatmeal and Scallop are back at the rec center.
Okay, because I'm just saying, I know
Do
we
you
don't like
wanna
each other.
make that line more obvious so you can take a token about it?
I think it's pretty obvious.
Okay.
Yeah, because I probably turned to you and go, wink.
Yeah, okay, there we go.
Because if there are any dogs in there,
Yes. Hypochondriacally.
precisely, they may be in big trouble.
I think, can I just look at Sparky and go, like, take a beat and go, to the rescue!
I think that's a good point for us to cut and see what Scallop and Oatmeal are doing before we barge in on them.
I think Scallop's kind of snuck away to try and investigate the house a little bit. And
So what room did you end up in?
Good question. I inevitably went to the kitchen because I'm always like, is there anything here I can eat or use?
I'd say it's like like a kind of a nice beach house. It would have had 2 stories, but that the bedrooms were up on that top floor. So let's put you like all the way down a staircase so that you've gotten some distance.
Yep, that was exactly what I was thinking. To the point where,
but how about it's one of those open floor plan ones where like there's a balcony, so like we could, so like somebody could drop into your space if need be.
Yeah, I think I stated that. Yeah, so I feel like when the time comes, I hear the thump of the big cat.
Yeah.
Jumping down. But for now, I'm in the kitchen, kind of nosing through cabinets and just sort of looking for anything interesting in there.
And I think moving around on here, the kitchen maybe has some of the heavier things. House is a little bit tilted. I think that's when you'll like put a paw down and you'll feel the floor shift, like enough that like one of the cabinets, like the doors come open on it.
Yep.
And a bunch of Corel plateware comes falling out and crashing all over the floor, but it doesn't break, of course, because it's Corel. But anyway, it's all over the place.
Also, it just reeks in here, like just like to the point where it would cover any strange scents because the refrigerator has fallen open and everything in it has gone bad.
So as the kind of house is tilting a bit, I take it a little bit more gingerly, but I'm heading over to the fridge just to see if I can salvage anything from the fridge. And as I'm nosing through, I feel like there's maybe some rodents who have taken up refuge in there. That immediately kind of turns me off. I do feel like I want to find something interesting, but maybe not food related. And I'm wondering if it's like technology or devastation or something else that kind of piques my curiosity or that I don't understand. Any ideas?
Should be something you can get your mouth around. I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe there's another one of those radios. And it's talking, or like I hear human voices, but there's too indistinct to make out.
Yeah, there's like an Alexa unit there that when you've come in is popped on.
Right. That's good. So I kind of grab it and I'm like, that's interesting. Sounds like people. And I pull it out, and maybe that's when I hear the thump upstairs. So I head to the open part, and I put down the Alexa and I call up Oatmeal. Everything okay up there?
And that should absolutely be cut to Oatmeal staring into the eyes of this thing. You hear that in the
I would like to
distance.
put something in the background
Ooh.
of Scallop.
Okay.
Does anyone object to me bringing the entire cat colony into this location? That we start to see like kind of like shapes detach themselves from like the tops of the cabinets.
Oh, so as I'm
If
distracted,
I'm having this idea that the cat colony wants our territory
Ooh.
and that they're moving in on our space.
they're making a move on the rec center.
Yeah,
I like it.
it's
And
too
they
wet in the
essentially,
woods.
that makes sense. The cats, are they essentially led by? Oh well, I guess the big one would be the queen that
That was
Marmalade
my
alluded
thought.
to earlier. I like that a lot.
Yeah. That,
I was originally thinking that maybe the queen stole the chick from Marmalade, but maybe it was more like an offering.
he certainly hinted that he was going to do that last time.
Yes.
I'd be happy with either one.
Okay.
Whether like if Marmalade's not inside, Marmalade's can be on the outs with the Enclave.
Yeah. Maybe it was an attempt to get back in.
I like
That's
great.
But
But then
Marmalade.
they just like chased her out.
Yeah.
They're like, no, we're taking this, and you've been around those stinking mutts for too long, and their odor is on you. Get out of here. You're not a proper cat.
Perfect.
But Oatmeal. What are you gonna do?
I kind of like I'll say, well, we don't always see eye to eye, and I'll kind of like stop kind of at the end of that last word. And there's this kind of pregnant pause as I look and I have this sort of wave of primeval terror kind of run down my little greyhound body. And I see these great saucer-like, like burning yellow eyes widen, and I see this great black shape begin to kind of melt out from the shadows. And I can't get a distinct view of what it is, but the smell is that of carrion and carcasses, meat, and it's the sort of stench that really speaks to the little bitty remnants of kind of like wolfish pack animal that's still left in my domesticated body.
Mhm.
And I get this sense of just like, I have to run or I will be like, this is the end of me. And that's
Which
the
is the creature's
instinctual
moment to kind of slink out of the shadows, and it sits down and it like kind of cocks its head, amused by you, and it lifts one paw and like it starts licking its claws like the way cats with their giant pink tongue going. We would like you to leave the rec center. We would like you to leave this entire human settlement. It's ours now.
I
The bird.
I am like stiff as a board, like backed up against the edge of the bed, and I want to get down, but I can't turn my back on this thing safely. And so I'm just like leered back with this little seagull chick on my nose, and I say, what do you mean we?
My ladies and I. It is too damp in the woods. You have a very lovely roof. Of course, it will not be yours much longer. You will have to find a different spot. You have until tomorrow to leave. And then it sort of shuffles very slightly to create a gap so that you can leave if you like, but you'll have to touch it as you go by.
I'm trying to see if this is a place that I can use a move. I might not, though. I wonder, is there a place, and feel free to turn this down if it's not dramatically appropriate, but is there a place here for Scallop to kind of come save me here?
Okay.
Or
Yeah.
I think that maybe the opportunity is we start making noise, Davy.
Yeah, Davy and Sparky could just bargain.
Yeah, we're downstairs. We'll create a distraction, like, because that'll freak some of the cats that are down there out, and give Scallop the opportunity.
Except I think that the only entrance is up above, was my understanding.
Well, we're probably barking down at the base. Well, at least I am. I'm not that bright.
Okay. So I think Davy wants to run in and is trying to convince you to run in to rescue.
And maybe it's after the queen issues that idle or not so idle threat or demand.
Mhm.
That's when you hear Scallop's voice. Oatmeal, is everything okay up there? I heard a big thump, a cat-like thump.
Scallop, stay where you are. Don't come in here. We've got some company, but it's okay. And I kind of am backing off, and I kind of like crash down onto the floor ungracefully from the bed. And I collect myself and pop back up and continue to sort of back towards the door, trying to edge around the side of. I guess we don't have a name for this gal.
I've just called her the queen in our NPCs sheet.
I think we've got what we need. We need to get out of here. Let's just run.
Okay, let me come up and help you. Did you find Fluff? And at this point, I've started to trot up the stairs. And maybe I notice the cats now. And I start to make eye contact with a few of the cats that are around there.
Right. Might there be a way for Scallop to kind of come up and stop mid-sentence as he sees exactly what I'm dealing with? Because I think out of the four of us, Scallop would be the experienced one who knows what we're up against.
Maybe.
And so
yeah, go ahead.
So I mean, I think it might be valuable story-wise for Scallop to see exactly what we're dealing with, so that you can then provide us with info on what exactly it is. Because I am utterly taken aback, and I could probably even give an accurate description of it, other than that it's a really big cat.
Is it?
Yeah, does Scallop have history with this creature?
I was just saying that. I was totally thinking like maybe we were strays together, and then the devastation happened, and we went.
Ooh, unlikely allies.
Yes. Yeah. So I come up and I'm like, the queen notices that I am there. Maybe she just used to go by queen.
Mm-hmm.
Now she is the queen. And I'm like, Oatmeal, you're safe. Just walk past her.
I kind of. Sorry, go ahead.
And I said, you'll be fine.
I edge past.
And the queen just like, she does watch you, and then she does that like long cat blink and yawns. And then cocks her head and goes, no hard feelings, Scallop. It's a cat eat dog world.
I skitter cowardly, out of the way, and I'm kind of like cowering behind Scallop at this time.
Remember, tomorrow, nightfall.
What are you talking about, Queen?
Your friend there will explain it to you. And then swish tail and exit.
Oatmeal, what did you promise to her?
I didn't say anything, Scallop. I didn't say anything. I couldn't say anything. The teeth are too big for me to speak, Scallop. She wants the den. She and all the cats want the den. They're trying to kick us out.
I knew it was going to come to this. I knew I never should have joined you. She's spiteful, and she's coming after the den because I'm part of the pack.
But Scallop, you can't leave us now. We need you more than ever.
If I don't leave, she'll never stop coming. I mean, why is she going after the rec center? There's a million houses with not a single human in them. And she's got to come after our den. That's not about the rec center. That's about me.
We need to tell the others, Scallop. This is bigger than we can handle by ourselves.
Yeah. No, don't worry. My first phone call, my first call is to Davy and Sparky. Yep, they are definitely the dogs that we will rely on to help us out of this. But yes, we are in this together.
They've both always been very reliable. We
In
should.
their own way. Yes.
Yes. I look around and I see these beady, blinking little eyes staring out at us from all the shadows. And what do we do about them, Scallop?
They won't bother us. Queen's issued her idle threat, her threat. They will be patient. Won't you? I think there's maybe slight hisses, laughing.
All of those like twitchy, grouchy tails.
Yes.
And at least one is like doing that like kneading thing, and it's like weirdly loud, the like snagging of the claws.
Pulling up the carpet. Looks like we need to get the rec center ready for war. Come on, Oatmeal. Let's go.
Awesome. Lower, you're muted.
You're muted.
I was saying, bark, 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 bark.
I have to admit, I'm much more comfortable playing the cats than I am the dogs. I don't know if that comes across, but I was like, I can cat all day long.
Are you familiar with a series called The Warriors, the Warrior Cats series?
It was a little bit after my time. I know of it, but I have not read it. The girl that I work with was really into it, and we talk about it sometimes. I should revisit it.
Yes, you should. There are a lot of them. They're kind of rough. Like we had to stop reading them with my younger son because they're pretty violent. But there are plenty of them, and it's all cats all the time with a very elaborate mythology that I got lectured on a lot. So, and he is desperate for a Warriors role-playing game. So if anyone wants to bite into that, should we end up at the rec center and plan?
I'm okay with cutting ahead to there, unless Davy or Sparky have anything they'd like to do.
Though I think Marmalade has to be with us too. I think Marmalade has to throw in his lot with us.
Wow. Yes.
Yeah.
What does it look like?
But in that like cat way where they're going to show up halfway through the conversation and be like, oh, who, me? You know, like they didn't come with us when we came. They were just
right. So Marmalade shows up after we're back at the den. Is that right? I like that. Do we need to make an alliance with the gulls? Are we coming full circle with those gulls?
Because those cats, I think this is what we have to, the pitch we have to make to the gulls. And maybe this is where we come in. Look, we've got Fluff. And look,
we've taken good care of Fluff.
Good care of Fluff. Fluff gotten everything safe. If those cats take the rec center, they will be within striking distance of the shoreline and the pier.
You want us between you and them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anytime you come for stuff on the shore, anything that washes up, they will be waiting in the long grass. You know what was in that building? This is what Oatmeal told me. Wings.
So there is a gull ambassador who it's Snowball. Snowball is Fluff's mom. I feel like Fluff has also started barking instead of cackling like Fluff is going full dog. Yeah, she's going full dog. So Snowball says, tell me about these cats.
I look at Oatmeal and Scallop.
They're huge. They like the size of all of us put together. Their queen is this great hulking, muscle-bound.
Maybe dial it back a little.
They're not that bad. I mean, you would want us between them, but I mean,
How many of them are there?
oh, about the same number as dogs. Give or take double.
Thousands. There are thousands of cats as far as Oatmeal's concerned.
That doesn't bother me. There are lots of gulls too.
But if there are cats, there will be less gulls, and no nest on the beach will ever be safe again.
What will you give us if we help you?
There remains one more pre-popped bag of popcorn. Massive and buttery and delicious. We'll scatter it on the roof for you.
Interesting.
What else? Davy, think of something. Make an offer.
Are there anything else you can offer us? The popcorn is very tempting, though. That was a good call.
I say with a hint of sadness, I'll give you my moon.
The shiny? You still have the shiny?
If you help, you can have it back.
No, Oatmeal, don't. I know how much it means to you. We will dig up a bigger, rounder, shinier shiny for you. We will find one.
Everybody, did you say dig? Can you dig?
Yes, we can dig. Is there a shiny, a buried shiny that we could dig out for you?
There are shellfish that are difficult for us to get to. But if you can dig, you can get to the shellfish.
And I'm going to run around in a circle and I'm going to go, Oatmeal, if they show us how to get the shellfish, maybe we can eat shellfish too. Yes.
Yes.
How many shellfish? Like everyday shellfish, or one big feast shellfish, or on Mondays shellfish?
I think for the seagull, we do like to have a big feast once a week. It's our day of rest. So maybe we do kind of our big feast on that day, and then we call it Seagull Day. And then, a couple times a year, there's some really big holidays. Some other seagulls come in from out of town, and it would be really nice to impress them with a big shellfish dinner. Would that be okay?
So long as we can we get that, as long as we're invited to the shellfish feast?
Look, I like you guys. You're clearly, this is going to be a good match. Some of our relatives, they're a little, how do you say, they're not very nice to dogs. They don't like dogs.
How about this? I have an idea. It's a very clever plan. Tell me what you think. If you've got gulls coming in from ways down the shore and they don't like dogs,
Not at all.
then maybe part of the deal can be that you have them tell dogs about our place so they come to us and get out of your friend's place, and then we can be a better barrier against the cats.
The seagull. I think Snowball kind of puts her wing around you.
Huh, yeah.
Like,
Oh.
clearly this is the brains of the operation.
Oh God, I hope not.
Interesting. I think my relatives would really appreciate that. They are just so doggist. It's really unfortunate. I mean, you are all perfectly nice. I will bring this back to the Seagull Council.
You have a council?
Well, yes, I mean, it's really more of a subcommittee that I have to go to before we make a complete ruling as to whether we will enter formally. You know what? It's not worth boring you with our bureaucracy.
Okay. Oatmeal. So the cats have a queen, and the gulls have a council. What do we have?
I'm sad. I just wanted to go to the feast.
You can come to our weekly feasts. That's fine. Just not the big ones with the relatives, with the racist relatives. So.
Good. Speciest.
Yes. The specious relatives. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I didn't want to eat with them anyway.
Yeah.
No. Though they may change their mind if you take the dogs off their hands. Anyway, I need to get back.
Get back.
We're having a committee meeting, and I need to get back for that.
Okay, we're gonna cat-proof.
discuss forms of government.
I'm tempted. I've been trying not to make the Monty Python joke where we are an autonomous collective, but I'll just get it out of my system. There, I
That is the most doggy thing you could say right now. So I think that's good.
I don't know what that means. So how do we cat-proof while the gulls are gone? How do you cat-proof a place? Marmalade.
Jane,
Well,
would you-
I suppose you ought to start by closing up the way I usually get in. It's up there. I doubted it. I just did a terrible Marmalade voice that came out of nowhere and has no relation to any Marmalade voice that's previously been done, and I'm sorry.
I believed it. I also like how both Lowell and David both looked up. That's great.
That's ways up there. Okay. Oh, we could go up the fire stairs to the roof and maybe close it off from up there.
If you guys can get me some mesh or something to put over it, a tarp or something that they can't claw through, I could cover that up, probably.
I'm imagining this is like one of those perfectly easy places for a cat and like impossibly difficult place for a dog. Like it's like halfway down the outside of the building, there's a hole that's like from a ledge, that's from another ledge. Sort of like just cat, no problem. Dog, you're gonna like have to tie a rope around it and like lower it off the roof.
I will pull the comforter over for you. If we can stuff this in it.
Okay. Well, that's gonna. You'll have to be the one to do that, Sparky. You're the only one who's got the strength to heft that thing up there and stuff it through with your nose.
Okay. I'm gonna do this.
Gumption, Sparky. Gumption is the word they're looking for.
If I remembered Volpe's accent, I would offer Volpe, because maybe Volpe can do sort of cat-like
Oh yeah.
maneuvers. Can foxes do that?
Yeah, that's in. They can go along things. Maybe I can get the comforter down. I'll spend a token to do that to get it in place, and Volpe can push it through the hole so it can be blocked up.
I'm too terrified to do a Volpe accent.
I keep thinking it's kind of like
After my
a
monstrosity that came out of left field, I think you're fine.
like a pseudo Spanish, it's like Spaniard kind of accent is I think what it's trying to maybe.
Or was it bad French?
It was bad.
A little bit of the bad French. I
Yeah.
think.
There you go. You got it.
Yeah. I will climb your ledges. I will climb your ledges and do this. But, I want one last sniff of the fluff. Just a little whiff of it. Not going to do anything, but just a smell of it. It's so tasty smelling. I promise nothing going to happen.
I feel like there's a little bit of a montage now of the dogs, like prepping the dogs and their allies, prepping their rec center. So we're
Pulling,
a lot of entrances.
pulling collars
Can we
out.
find
tight.
something really sticky to put in some entrance that Marmalade shows us? Because boy, do cats hate sticky paws.
Oh yeah. Oh, we'll
Maybe
get
fly paper.
or
I'm thinking more like something that would stick. Well, tape is good, but I'm also thinking like if you could get like maple syrup.
oh yeah, or actually like that's like the savor all butter like coconut oil stuff that'll kind of dry and be nasty and sticky.
Yeah.
I could finally bust open the vending machine and get soda all tacky everywhere.
I'm just imagining like the sub montage of us trying to figure out how to like poke a hole in a soda can, and then when we actually succeed, and then we're all like running around in like the giant like soda can fountain.
What else don't cats like?
Being sprayed with water.
Yeah, maybe we set up a hose or something so that we
Yeah,
turn the tap on, the cats get sprayed.
I like that.
The emergency sprinklers can come on and get all the cast, and they would just find this like area of attack to be area of
I mean,
effect to
do
be
the fire
intolerable.
alarms still work? Are we the sort of dogs that would set a fire to turn on the fire
No,
alarm?
we would never set a fire. You never set a fire. We can't. That's the first
Davey's
rule.
totally gonna find a way to set a fire.
No,
When it
no.
comes, I want that scene to happen in which there is a fire and your dog freaking
A
out.
freak
Like,
out.
That's in my wishes for next time.
I had an idea for a closing scene that kind of centered Scallop a little bit, so I want to run it by
Oh
you.
yeah.
But I'm not trying to sort of hog the drama here. But because of her connection to Queen and because she thinks all of this is her fault, maybe while you all are kind of getting the rec center ready, she's started to wander off. Like this is the only way she can save the pack is to leave the pack. How do we feel about that?
That's great. And then we should start the next one. We need that backstory. We need to know what happened between the two of them.
Yeah.
Ooh, can we open with a flashback of Scallop and the Queen and how they like parted ways on bad terms, and then we kind of flash forward to preparation for this kind of final battle of sorts.
Yeah.
I also I want to do the heartfelt, maybe that is like a sub scene of like a heartfelt scene where we're like, wait, where did Scallop go? And we have to go run and then have that like discussion where we're like, no, you're part of the pack.
Absolutely.
That would be great.
But before they break up, I need a Scallop and Queen running along with like Born Free, that music playing on it, you know?
Nice. My notes from the session were terrible, and I was just way caught up in the action. I think we're wrapping it up. Is that
Oh yeah,
right?
I think it's good. Good point.
Yeah, that felt really good. Can we do some stars and wishes? Would that be all right? Let's see. I had Jane star last time, so maybe Lowell, do you mind going first?
Oh boy, I like this. I had a good time. I thought we did some nice intercutting today. I loved your play of the Gull ambassador. I loved Oatmeal's figuring out a plan to get out there, and that whole little paddling out, that was great. And Oatmeal being willing to give up the shiny, that was very good.
Oak.
And Davy going out into the water, that whole thing felt right. And disappointment at the not being invited to the big goal thing, the goal to do. But lots of good moments, just fun. Enjoyed it.
Any wishes for next time?
I think we've got a great setup for it. And I'm happy with that. We got a number of things off the table today that we had kind of set up, and so I'm looking forward to seeing where that goes.
Yeah. Cool. David, stars.
I almost kind of want to just say everything that Lowell just said. I thought the ambassador goal was great. Just the phrase ambassador goal being spoken without a hint of sarcasm. That's all I need to know that this game's a keeper. But that, and also Dan, I think the way that you folded Scallop being kind of the outsider and has this like backstory into the final confrontation with the queen and all of that, I think it really ups the drama because now it's personal, and I just love that. And Jane, just really the quality by, how should I phrase this? The way you go back and forth between Davy, Katz, and both are done so well despite being complete opposites. The versatility in acting is brilliant. And Lowell, the parts toward the end where Sparky actually begins to become something of a tactician are so good because it's such a character arc. Like now he's coming into his own. That and just the scene, the line, "No, we can't start a fire," that just like cracked me off. I was muted, but oh my gosh, it was the funniest thing. So yeah, for wishes, the only thing I can really think of is I would like to have kind of a heartfelt parting scene with Fluff when all is said and done, as we kind of give Fluff back to the goals, because I think that part of the arc for Oatmeal is over time he kind of liked Fluff after all. He was reticent at first, didn't really want to have the little bird around to take care of, but kind of grew on him. So a scene there would be nice towards the end, even if it's just a quick epilogue.
I don't know what makes you think Fluff is leaving, but cool. Thank you, David. Jane, what do you
got? I kind of lost my mind, Dan, when you started saying that there was like that backstory, and that like Scallop was taking on like, oh, it would only take our den because of me, and I'm like, that did not even occur to me, and it was so perfect, and it made it so personal and wonderful, and that was the moment for me. I'm like, all right, this game is now clicked for me. It did, for whatever reason, this particular session, it kind of all came together for me, because it like, even though at the beginning we were dealing with kind of an environmental problem, it felt more like the problems were more interpersonal for whatever reason to me. It felt more right this time. Again, like, Oatmeal is just a joy. Like every time Oatmeal is on the screen, I'm wrapped. It's just, it's so fully realized and so comic and so fun. It's true of Sparky too, but I want to second, like, Sparky's having ideas. Oh my goodness. And such good ideas. And just kind of the interaction between you and the Gull Ambassador was amazing. I've already told all of my wishes. I started on that pretty early, I think. Like, oh, we have to do this. Oh, we have to do that. Yeah. Just as a game thing, I guess, like, and I'm still trying to figure out, like, I don't feel like I have permission with this game to make really bad things happen. Like, there's like and I think it's a belonging outside belonging problem. It's like, we have a problem and then we solve the problem, and then we have a problem and then we solve the problem. But like, there's not this chance for like the problem to like snowball and get really bad, because it's just a little bit like, we're like, are we allowed to let it get really bad? Are we allowed to get like even worse? And I think that that's just a rhythm of this system, an issue with the system. But like, I wish I felt more like we could get a big problem that was like not instantly solved.
Sort of
if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it's a great point. I feel like the game is almost a catch-22, because on the one hand, there's no prep, right? There's none of that sort of thinking up front. So we're sort of all discovering it together. But as we're doing that, like, because we're all discovering it together, there's no opportunity for us to plant a big problem at the beginning, because we're still just trying to get to know the characters.
And also, like, we can solve any problem at any moment.
Right.
Like, there's never, oh, I thought this was going to work, but then I rolled crappy dice and it actually made the problem worse. Like, you just.
I will say, I think what you said there about permission is very much sort of the vital point of this, where we're all kind of checking in and we're finding someone. What I found when I played GM'd Belonging Outside Belonging is you've got a third party to introduce things or to check in with about that, and sort of it creates a permission to do the harder things, and that feeling like, okay, we've got someone who's kind of got some control over that, and there's kind of a net there, and like, it, rather than it feeling like, oh well, I can just solve it with this. Well, no, there's still a GM. Maybe something else is going to happen there. And at least that was my experience when I ran Balak Bayan. That it certainly, I didn't have to do that much, but except to provide a little extra atmosphere.
Jane, I also really liked what you said, because the thing it triggered in my head is, a few years ago when I first learned about Powered by the Apocalypse, I realized I need to relearn how role-playing games work. And I think that's what's happening here too. It's like I'm sort of relearning how these games could work, where there's a lot more checking in with each other. Like, oh, I've got an idea for something truly terrible to happen to us. Is that okay with the table? Rather than the GM being like, here's something terrible that happens.
Yes.
So, but it does feel like developing new habits for these games, you know?
What's kind of an interesting dichotomy is that in some ways it feels more like, and bear with me, this is going to sound weird, more like a D&D, where you are in the party and you can't act against the party because the party needs you. Like, it's hard. I feel like it's scary to do like true inter-party conflict. Like we're out in that ocean and I'm like, I could fail to do this. I could, throw in the towel and make it harder and take my token and run. But then I feel like I'd be sabotaging the group. And so it feels, because it's become, and then like with the Powered by the Apocalypse, like even if you're all like working towards the same goal, there's more permission to be at odds with each other, because the game gives you rails to push against. Whereas this feels like, oh, I'll be like screwing up the whole dynamic if I like take a dive.
Can I jump in here? Because and again, grain of salt, I'm not a game designer. I've never designed a game. I'm very far from a Belonging Outside Belonging expert. My understanding, though, with Belonging Outside Belonging is that the only real requirement is that everyone is part of the same community. But there is, within that community, no requirement that everybody is necessarily on the same side, if that makes sense. Like, you can still have conflict within the community as long as we're all on the same side, or the same community. Like I played last month a game of Haven. Stephen S. was running it or facilitating it. And the whole premise of that game is that everyone is a witch and we're all part of a coven. And the central problem wasn't actually that there was the coven versus the outsiders. It actually became a almost like a religious schism within the coven, this conflict between upholding tradition and creating kind of a new way of doing things. And so it was actually kind of not PvP, but close to it. And so I think that there is room for conflict in belonging outside belonging. I think that in this particular game, the pack, I think the assumption though is that we're all on the same team by virtue of being part of a pack. And that I actually don't mind that personally. But I see the validity though, Jane, with what you're saying, how it can be difficult to have kind of that inter-party struggle when I guess the unstated assumption is that we all like each other and want the same things.
Yeah, and like I think what I liked about this session is that I felt more of that party stuff felt, and why I say that it's reminding me of D&D is it's like you can have, like, theoretically you can have the inter-party stuff, but then when combat rolls around, you are all working for the combat. You are never RPing, I'm the cleric but I don't like you, so I'm not going to heal you, because then you break D&D. And this feels a little bit like that, where it's like because most of our conflicts have been these kind of environmental conflicts or these outside conflicts, I feel like the struggle between me as a player in my player role and me in my GM role is, I want more rails for that. Like I love the idea of like getting a currency when you're a GM, because then I'm like, well, I'm actually helping. I don't know. I'm just trying to, I spend a lot of time, sometimes I don't know what I'm thinking until I talk about it. And so like, there's something here that I want to like, because part of me was like, I would love to roll a die and be like, oh, I failed to rescue you. Now what do we do?
But I feel like we could have had the conversation of, hey, what if I fail to rescue you? And what does that look like? And then
and maybe it's just a comfort level of like getting into that, like, when do you ask that? Right.
And is it because we are all new, haven't played together before, and we're getting to a point now, we're in session 3, session 4, where we have that comfort level where we can bring that stuff up.
And that might be it too. And this is my first belonging, but I'm talking like I know what I'm talking about. I don't. This is my first belonging outside belonging game.
Well, and we have to have stuff that we can put at risk, like stuff that we have to have consequences and stuff. And I think that's part. I'll point out one thing. The playbook that I chose has a lot of very aggressive player interaction moves, actually, like kind of being hostile to the other characters. But I haven't played it that way, and I've kind of avoided those, which is interesting, because it's meant that about, like, I haven't touched about half of what my playbook has available. So I don't know.
It's interesting.
Yeah, I haven't been making good use of mine either.
I'm sorry. I'm looking at the playbooks actually, and like the thief, one of their lures is other dogs get a token when they interfere with your attempted theft. The stray, other dogs gain a token when they express their distrust of you. So there's actually a little bit of stuff in there that you could use to get some conflicts going within the group, but I just don't think we're really using it.
This is all super helpful, because there's part of me that's like, how much does the game need to? I mean, the second half of our session today, I don't even know that I looked at my playbook at all, and we were still coming up with great stories. And it's like, well, has the game done what it needs to do, which is sort of give 4 people enough of a vehicle to tell a good story, or tell a story that they're having fun with. So, friends, this was fantastic, and I am so grateful again for your time and for your enthusiasm. So that was super fun. I'm going to stop the recording.
Okay.
Because sometimes I remember